All right, the last thing to do is to go from interval notation to inequalities. So we can go from the brackets parentheses to a graph, then to the inequality, and then be done with it. Because you need to make sure you can be able to do that and understand what it means. So let's start with, let's say, A. And A is going to have a bracket with a -5, a 4, and then a parenthesis. So pretty much it's between -5 and 4, and the bracket's on -5, which means it's included because it has the equal to sign. So when we graph it out, we're going to put on a number line. Again, it doesn't matter if you put all the numbers there or not. I just want you just to make sure you just put down -5 and 4. And here, remember, this is considered a between. So that means all the numbers are going to be between -5 and 4. So it means we need to shade between -5 and 4. Shade between them, between. And then again, when it comes to your -5 and 4, there's a bracket on -5. There we go. And then there's a parenthesis on the 4. And again, remember, choose the ones that cup around the shaded region. Okay, so again, because we know this is a bracket, that's a parenthesis. Bracket means there's an equal to sign. Parenthesis means that there's just either less than or greater than sign. And so we know when we write it out, it should be -5. We have an x in the middle because x is between -5 and 4. And then we have 4 right here. And if you remember what a between looks like, it always has less than signs. So here, we're going to have less than here, less than here. And because this is a bracket, which means we have an equal to sign, this has to be less than or equal to on that spot there. Less than or equal to. So pretty simple, really quick. And so that is our inequality. We went from the interval notation, we changed it to a graph, and then we wrote it out as an inequality. Remembering your bracket means equal to, parenthesis means just less than or greater than sign. And when it comes to betweens, let's write this out. Betweens have less than signs. So it could be less than or equal to or just less than, but it's going to have a less than sign at somewhere. All right, so let's go to another one. Let's go B here. And we have from -5 to positive infinity, a bracket on -5 and a parenthesis on infinity. As remember, infinity always has a parenthesis, always, no matter what. So again, when we graph these out, oh, I left something off, sorry for the first one. Make sure you don't forget your infinities here. Negative infinity, positive infinity. And then again on here, negative infinity, positive infinity. Important for the infinities to be there. Okay, we're going to put -5 again in the middle. Now here again, we're going to shade it, and then we're going to put the bracket in where it needs to go and all that great stuff. But again, remember, when it's infinity, you don't use that parenthesis on the graph. Don't use the parenthesis on the graph. When I say that, I mean the parenthesis for infinity. Don't use that on the graph. So when we shade it, we know we're going to shade where it goes from -5 to positive infinity. So this side over here. That's where the graph exists. And again here, we're going to put a bracket on -5. And again, because we're shading on this side, it has to come around and cup it like this. Just like before, just like we said before. All right, so if we were to take a look at this, we know this is x is -5. But all these numbers here are greater than 5, right? So that means when we write this out, we need to write an inequality that says that we're talking about the numbers that are greater than 5, negative 5, sorry, and also equals negative 5. So we know we're going to say x, because that's the value that we're talking about, or the variable we're talking about. And we know it's negative 5. And we say that it needs to be greater than negative 5. So all the numbers that are greater than negative 5. So we're going to say x is greater than, so the greater than symbol. And because of the bracket, we have to have the equal to sign. And again, hopefully everybody can see that. We don't have to write it out, but if you need me to come over there and explain it again, I'll explain it. But again, x is greater than or equal to negative 5, because that's the numbers that are shaded. Okay? And then we have one last one, which is c. Let me do it in this one. Right here. All right, and this is our very last one, and then I'll let you loose on some practice problems, some classwork type stuff. Right. So the last one is from negative infinity to positive 1. And so again, we're going to do a number line here. We'll add our infinities. We're going to put our number 1 in the middle. And in this time, it says we're going from negative infinity to 1. So it means we need to shade from negative infinity till we get to number 1. So we shade from negative infinity till we get to number 1. So all of this wonderful numbers, all these numbers here. Okay. Now, again, because it's infinity, we don't put the parenthesis on the graph. Just like we set up here on this one, or B, do not use parenthesis on the graph for infinity. On the graph, talking about that part for infinity. Again, do the same thing here. Because that's infinity, do not put a parenthesis on the graph here. So here, we know that it's a parenthesis on 1, and it needs to cup around the 1, or cup around the shaded area. So it means we're going to cup around this way right here. Okay. So now if we were to take a look at it and figure out visually what's going on, we know these are numbers that are less than 1, right? Going all the way to negative infinity. They're smaller than 1. So again, we're going to do x. We're going to do 1. And we have to show numbers that are less than 1, because we need to get the numbers that are smaller than 1 here. So it means we need to do a less than sign. Now, should it be equal to also? No, because we have the actual, just a parenthesis there, which means not equal to, but it's less than 1. So here, again, this will be our final inequality. And again, these are numbers less than one. That's the numbers that are shaded here. And these are the numbers that for B, the numbers greater than or equal to 5. Sorry, negative 5. Okay, so that is all that is required right now for interval notation. And if we're going to give you some practice on this, and then we're going to actually use this to go more in depth with the rest of our lessons. All right, here we go.